Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie with Northwest Rose Crafts, and today I will show you 3 cute Halloween DIYs. Okay, so I first started out by cutting a 6.5 by 6.5 inch square out of my sage green iron-on vinyl, placed it shiny side down on my standard cutting mat, and sent it through the Cricut. I set the base material to everyday iron-on, set my default pressure to more, and mirrored the design. Once the design was cut out, I started weeding the design on the cutting mat. I got this design from Cricut Design Space Access. It's super cute, but I will say it's pretty intricate, and you definitely want to be patient and careful when weeding out this design. I took out an alcohol wipe to clean the faux leather side of the felt sheet. This cleans the surface so the vinyl adheres better to the material. I placed my faux leather felt sheet on my heat mat, plugged in my Cricut Easy Press Mini, and set the temperature to low. Then I grabbed my 8-inch embroidery loop and placed it on the felt sheet to use it as a guide for my vinyl. Once my vinyl was placed nicely on my faux leather sheet, I taped it down with heat-resistant tape, just in case it decided to move while I was ironing on the design. I placed Teflon on top of my design to protect the material from the heat, and used my Easy Press Mini for 30 seconds at medium firm pressure. I used the Easy Press Mini quite a few times because I really wanted the leather texture to peek through the vinyl. Once I saw that, I pulled off the carrier sheet to reveal my ironed-on design, and I love how this came out. I grabbed my 8-inch embroidery loop and placed it around the faux leather sheet. Once I liked how it looked, I tightened the adjustment screw. Then I cut off the excess leather. I cut it pretty short so that it wouldn't peek out the sides of the loop when hung up. I grabbed my lace ribbon I got from Dollar Tree and tied a bow around the adjustment screw to hide it. You can use any ribbon here, but I wanted my sign to have a boho-y sort of vibe. Okay, and here is the final reveal. It turned out so cute and I cannot wait to hang it up. I will be layering vinyl for this design. So first, I cut out a 9 by 9 inch square of cream iron-on vinyl, placed the shiny side down on my standard cutting mat, and ran it through the Cricut. I set the base material to everyday iron-on, set the pressure to more, and mirrored my design. I found this broomstick design on Cricut Design Space Access. I created an offset layer from the original broomstick design in Cricut Design Space and cut that offset layer into the cream iron-on vinyl. Next, I cut around a 9-inch by 9-inch square of matte black adhesive vinyl on my standard cutting mat and ran it through the Cricut. I set the base material to matte vinyl and set the pressure to more. I cut the original broomstick design into this matte black adhesive vinyl. After the vinyl is cut, I started weeding out the cream iron-on vinyl. This vinyl will be placed directly on the fabric. I cut some extra fabric I had laying around. This fabric is going to be placed within a 12-inch embroidery loop, so I recommend cutting at least a 14 by 14-inch square. So I couldn't find my rotary cutter, so please excuse my ratchet edges on this cut. Thank you. Next, I placed my fabric on a heat pad, set my Cricut Easy Press temperature to 315 degrees Fahrenheit, and timer to 30 seconds. I wanted to get the wrinkles out, so I placed the Easy Press on the fabric and moved it around the heat pad area. This also heats up the fabric beforehand and allows for better adhesion with the vinyl in the next step. I grabbed my 12-inch embroidery loop and placed it on the fabric to use as a guide for my vinyl. Once I placed the vinyl, I squeegeed my vinyl to the fabric. Placed my Teflon sheet on top, then my Cricut Easy Press, and press play. After one press, I removed the Easy Press, removed the heating pad, and allowed the iron-on to cool. Once cooled, I removed the carrier sheet to reveal the design. Next, I weeded out the matte black adhesive vinyl. I like to reuse my transfer tape when possible, so I reused some transfer tape from a previous project and burnished the transfer tape onto the adhesive vinyl. You wouldn't want to use adhesive vinyl directly on the cotton fabric because it will not adhere well. This is why I used iron-on vinyl for the layer making direct contact with the fabric. However, adhesive vinyl does adhere nicely on top of already placed vinyl. I carefully overlaid the adhesive vinyl on top of the ironed-on vinyl and squeegeed down the black layer. I carefully pulled off the transfer tape to reveal my final design. I grabbed my 12-inch embroidery hoop and placed the fabric within it. Once I liked what the design looked like in the hoop, I tightened the adjustment screw. Once the design was placed how I liked it, I flipped the hoop over and cut off the excess fabric. I grabbed this lace ribbon I got from Dollar Tree and tied a bow around the adjustment screw to hide it. Okay, the broomstick sign is complete and it looks so cute. I grabbed these two wood blanks at the thrift shop and for the longest time could not think of what I wanted to make out of these until today. Today, I'll be making a cute coffee sign for my coffee nook. I started by painting the wood blanks with black acrylic paint and letting them dry overnight. The next morning, I flipped over the balloon-shaped wood blank and painted the other side. Once the blanks were dry, I added a coat of matte Mod Podge to the side of the blank that I will be applying the vinyl to. This protects the wood and paint when peeling off the transfer tape. Even though this Mod Podge is matte, it still has a sheen to it, so I suggest applying it to the sides of the sign as well, because you will see the areas you missed when light hits your sign. Next, I cut a 5.5 by 6-inch square of regular matte cream adhesive vinyl on my standard cutting mat and ran it through the Cricut. I set the base material to matte vinyl and left the pressure as default. I started weeding out the design. I got the skeleton hand design off Cricut Design Space Access and added text that says, "Nightmare before coffee." I grabbed some transfer tape and burnished the tape to the vinyl. Then, I carefully peeled off the transfer tape. I took my design and overlaid it on top of the wood blank. Once I liked how it looked, I burnished the vinyl to the blank. Then I peeled off the transfer tape. Next, I took some super glue and brushed it onto the bottom of my blank. And then placed it on the rectangular base. Applied a little bit of pressure and held it in place for 15 seconds. And now we have a super cute coffee bar sign. I had so much fun making this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.